I grew up with Northern Soul and everything. It was a big influence at the time of music that Jalal was coming out with. And I'd seen this album referenced in specifically Darius James, who's the film, the book he'd written on black exploitation culture. In fact, Freddie talks about this foundation work and how it defined storytelling in rap as an art form and all the rest. I just felt it had never really been explored or presented in this way for its seen significance the way people talked of it. So over the years, it took me a decade to get to the point. It took me 6 months to find Jalal to track him down, find him through all the last poets. And it was story. I never expected the story to unfold in a way as it did. I didn't know anything about James until I met with Jalal and the kind of the roots of rap they exploited, which is also not documented anywhere.
Unbelievable that no one's made a film about this till now. I mean, Jalal, have you never been approached by anyone at all over the years to make this film?
No, not really. One time, I think it must have been 1974, 1973, I met with some people that had made a film called Point Counterpoint and a walkabout about Australian Aboriginal boys. And they proposed to do a movie. And so we were negotiating with the 21st floor in New York City, IMF building. And they said, well, wait a minute, it's a book. And the book rights clash with the movie rights. So we can't do this. So you have to have a waiver. I think they call it a quit claim. Sounds like, look, man, you either want to do it or you don't want to do it. Either way, I've done it already. It's audio. Visual is another story, okay? But it's recorded, it's documented, it's there. And it's a movie already. Whether you put it in the film or whether you don't. So it fell through, it didn't happen. But the book publishing, that was the only time.
You say it's an audio album. Do you ever kind of visualize it like this in a film form?
I really didn't have time. I mean, Mike did a beautiful job with Cuban and Jalal Mansur and all my friends that helped us with this project here. I never dreamed of it. I'm too busy writing. I'm like painting the Sistine Chapel like Michelangelo. So I'm too busy developing the art form and taking it as far as I can take it within my lifetime. So I wrote a sequel, which I mentioned in a film called Hustlers Detention, which I think is heavier than Hustlers Convention. And it breaks it down like this, that what took place, what did he learn while he was incarcerated. So Q here asked me to recite, which I told him I would, because he coerced me, you see. So a verse from the Hustler's Detention to give you like a preview of coming satisfactions, which we call attractions. And this takes place in prison, and it's an exchange on death row between some of the inmates that the hero in Hustler's Convention had met. The hero of sport, and he met these people on death row. They were co-inmates like him, so every day they're waiting to see who's going to go next. And they're waiting also on the stay of execution. So they want to know what sport's spiritual concept is, how he sees things, because they've been having conversations as to, how they got caught and how they got murder charges against them and how they went to death row, and now how they're waiting on death itself. And some of them feel like they're innocent, and others know that they're guilty, but they're just sorry they got caught. So it varies. So they ask him last, they say, sport, tell us what you think, and he says, realization of creation gave a feeling sensation that was awakened and aware of itself. The earth, the sky, the by and by, the whole of mankind. And intelligence was the gift that was given to the mind. And intelligence was stationed inside of creation, cause by the one's decree, all were to be within the process of elimination. And things came to an end to begin again. And time was and is the now and then of when. And all that was behind was ahead was behind. And the one added it, subtracted it, multiplied it, divided. And since all figures are into the one, it all comes back in one lump sum. And when you can dig where that's coming from, then you're on the one. From there, you become aware of the two, yourself and you. Now for you to figure out what to do with the two, you gotta see the three to see the B in you. Then you understand why you knew what you'd known before on the either or square of four corners of the block between a hard place and a rock. Trying to survive to reach five, like the fingers on your hand, my man. But six plays tricks and puts you in a fix. Cause six done lied and alibied, and you're fit to be tied, cause you might not find out until after you died. Unless you can slide into seven, you might make it to heaven. If you overshoot the gate, you got to wait at 8 to get a test of your faith to see if you're in your right mind by 9. And now you're left with death at 10. Your journey's at an end, and you're back on the one again.
I just want to jump in and say that's great. I've been following Jalal around for a while, but toasting is something I grew up on. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, in the inner cities. And I grew up, my father used to speak toast to me all the time. It was like a rhyme he had around the house, and it was a great opportunity. When Mike actually came up to me about the idea, like I have this idea of doing something on toasting and rapping. I'm like, wait a minute, I've been hearing this like all of my life. So it was just it's a great connection to have to be working on a film like this, to be a part of it, to know Jalal, and to know that I have some connection, with my father and my family as well. So I really appreciate that. So that was great, Jalal.
Any questions out there at the moment? Okay, take this gentleman first, go to you afterwards.
First of all, that was educational. I don't know when. I feel bad having plucked out when I was 15 and things like that, so I do apologise. And I go to Souls of Michigan and things like that. But anyway, well, congratulations. But Jalal, why did you move to Liverpool and why did you stay there?
So, the gentleman's from Liverpool, if you didn't recognise the accent. He's just asking, what made you move to Liverpool?
Well, let me see, Liverpool will be the equivalent to, let's say, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, we got a city that has that Liverpool vibe, and it was a cool place, to just chill out because, everybody knows what struggling to survive means in Liverpool, So it's a pool that you got to live in, you see. And, you got to keep it clean, it's got to have chlorine, you understand? And also, they don't take no tea for the fever in Liverpool. So, and I'm at the North Stage when you saw in the film, I call him the North Stage of Bill Harper, who ran the Blackie, for like 40, 50 years, to help the children in Liverpool who come from mixed race families and, former colonial colonies of the British Empire. And Bill worked with them all that time, so, I saw he had a good heart, and so me and him kind of teamed up. I helped him, in terms of his vision of restoring the Blackie, which was a bombed out cathedral from World War II, and the Nazis bombed it. And so we got together, I gave him the vision of how everything would look, and I agreed with him, I spurred him on, and he got it done. It took 40 years or so, but he got it done because he had to get the funding, now they want to try to take it from him, what I'm saying? But, we the people, need to determine our own destiny. We need to know where to put the brakes on that, We need to know what's off, we need to know what's on. We need to know what's dying and what's being born. We need to separate the pot from the corn. We need to keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. So, rhythms and sounds, and leaps and bounds, scales and notes and endless quote, our soul being told, hypnotizing while improvising is mentally appetizing. Off on the tangent, they got a sense searching, soaring, exploring. The sticking you shall find more time, more time, more time, more time, more time, more time. Find who, how, where you are, you blue, we're not through digging the new. Finding higher souls on fire, seeking the top, can't stop. Dig, bop. Left earth on a new birth in space, our place, and base us. Regenerated, less complicated, vibrating, educating, stimulating, young and old, like a whole those who know jazz is pros and how it goes. And it's going to be me, us, we free. Baby, can't you see it? And check it out without a doubt what it's all about. Then shout, off and on, being born rhythmically in the well, can't fail. Smooth sail, break it down, run it around, give it a pound on the town in the world. Did the sound of our love inside our pride, the song right here, jazz over this poetry. Poetic vibes, masculine bass, flute and drums, pick up the pace, piano keys on the spine and flat. That's jazz over to black and white. Brilliant colors, glowing hues, intimate expression, personal views, spreading news by way of blues. Brothers, others, lovers, mothers, sons, friends on the set. You haven't freed yet, trying to pin what's happening while you're coming from and going to communicate with me and you. Internal feeling is spiritual healing when I'm dealing with jazz. That ass, turn me on, hey, blow that horn. Well, of course, this boys can only watch my pride jazz. I'm poetry side by side.
Hello, thank you for sharing. I've got two questions. The very first one is, when does Hostile Contention come out? And the second one is, you've influenced a lot of people in the rap game and poets, etc. Is there anyone that's come out now that you feel slightly inspired by or influenced by?
That I feel influenced or
Yeah.
inspired by?
Yeah, or something that you like.
Oh, well, there's a lot of people I like, but not necessarily for their poetry. Unless they're making a point that's etched in stone. Other than that, it's got to stand alone. I don't really look at what's going on as far as show no business is concerned. I'm in show business, but on the periphery. So the inspiration is already there. It's already in the past. It goes back centuries and ages and stuff like that. And I grew on that. So the water in the bottom of the well tastes better than the water on the top of the well. For me, you see what I'm saying? So as far as inspiration goes, I actually got to go to the scriptures to get inspiration. Or I got to go to all the righteous people on the planet who are inspired to help each other, save the planet, and save, the things that are near and dear to us, like our humanity. And then I grew on inspiration. So you don't have to be a rapper or anything like that for me to get inspiration from. All you gotta do is be able to make sense out of nonsense, and I'm inspired.
Let me just add here.
Sorry, can I just say, when is the album out? Say.
I didn't tell you that. It's not. Work got laid off.
Okay.
Because Lightnin Rod didn't get paid off. Okay, any other questions? Oh, Dick, what's up, Dick? Oh, by the way, this is Dick Fontaine. This is my man here. When I first came to England, Dick looked out for me. And we worked with Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers at the Camden Jazz Festival in 1984. And we did a documentary with Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. So that was my first intro into documentaries, thanks to Dick Fontaine and Gus Cabal and a couple other people that was involved in
Well,
it.
the last rap you did was a bit familiar.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Mike, I think you did a fantastic job, and you, sir, too. All the way from Chicago. A really fantastic job. It's been a long, long journey, boy.
You got that right, Dick. I call him Dick Whittington in his cap. You never see his cap, but you ought to keep him on the side.
But maybe this is a new beginning. You feel that?
Yeah, man, well, hope springs eternal, and hope is a virtue, So, as long as there's life, there's hope. When you talk about ending life or ending lives or putting the rug out from underneath people's legitimate hopes and aspirations, well, you know, then you're trying to kill hope. You know, and you can't kill hope with dope. You know, because hope will help you cope. You know, so we're never at the end of our rope as long as we don't put it around our own necks. You see, so all hands on deck. Okay?
Well, the great thing
To
is
the planet, all right? We need to stand it. Go ahead, David.
No, I interrupted you. What did I do that for? But it got, you know, the films showed this great righteous energy, and you know, the decades since Tulsa's invention and what's happened to many things, including hip hop. It really is important for people to actually hear what the root is, and I really appreciate what you've done. It's great.
Well, thank you. He's the associate producer, you know, of the live recording. You know, he's a student of Gill and mine from Liverpool, so don't forget, the excellent organized social engineer. Okay? So you have much talent within the country itself, and it has to be developed, and everybody needs a chance. And we need to make a big giant mirror so everybody can see what they really look like. This way, you know, there won't be no false pretenses. And everybody will come to their senses. You dig what I'm saying? You know, I know you can't dig it, you gotta dig it. It don't mean anything if it ain't got that swing. Okay? So, I'll leave you on this note unless you got any more questions. Any more questions? No? We'll start shouting, counting, get the flip, and dig on it, get the lesson, and when you get the lesson, you get the blessing. And you shall know the truth, truth will set you free, you know, and that's the roots of rap. It's got to make sense. And if it's making nonsense, then it's a toast, you see, and it gets burnt like that, you see. But once it converts into a roast, you know, now you can eat that safely, you see what I'm saying? So I don't want you to, you know, engage in the game of cop and blow. You know, that's the answer. Don't go too fast and don't go too slow. You know, go over everything in your mind so that you really know what you know. Okay? Because there's what you think you know, and then there's what you need to know, and then there's what you want to know. Okay? Then you can say yes or no. Okay? So the future's in our hands. Those of us that are still alive, you know, even the dead is counting on us to pray for them. So let's take care of our planet and make all other disputes and conflicts mute or moot. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the overall factor. Everything else won't mean nothing. You're not going to take that baby into the grave with you. You're not going to rule the world. You're not going to be the king of the world. Don't matter if you go to the moon. You can't escape to Mars. Deal with it, okay? Because it's in front of your face. Don't cut your nose to spite your face. There's a line in one of my poems that says, materialistic, futuristic, nuclearistic nuts, then cut your nose to spite your face and kick yourself in the butt. So, you know, we don't want to go there. We're supposed to know better. You know, there's another one that says, spying on each other and being watched from afar in your haste for outer space to reach some distant star. Dejected and rejected and infected and illing, competing and defeating and mutually killing. Annihilation, degradation, compensation. Do what you did to one another shall be done to you.
Thank you to everyone for turning up today. Thanking Mike, Cornell Jones for coming to Chicago, and of course thanking Lightnin Rod, Jalal Mansur Nurridin. Thanks so much for sharing.